Have you ever wondered why, as we get older, we start to realize that some things just aren't worth stressing over anymore? Why do we spend so much time and energy worrying about others' opinions, keeping our homes spotless, or trying to please everyone? As time passes, we start to understand that life's most valuable moments aren't about perfection or what others think. They're about embracing what truly brings us joy and peace. In this video, I'm going to share 12 lessons that have helped me let go of the things that don't matter, and I'm confident these insights can help you live a more fulfilled, authentic life, too. Whether it's learning to prioritize your happiness, letting go of unnecessary clutter, or finally saying no without guilt, these lessons are designed to help you stop wasting precious time and focus on what makes life worthwhile. Stick around until the end because the last lesson might just change the way you see the rest of your life. These lessons have not only transformed the way I approach my days, but have also given me the freedom to truly enjoy my later years. If you're ready to reclaim your time, energy, and peace of mind, then this video is for you. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Obsessing over others' opinions. For so many years, I allowed the suffocating fear of judgment to control every part of my life. I found myself obsessing over every little detail. What people thought about my clothes, the way I spoke, the words I used, and even the life choices I made. I became consumed by a constant inner dialogue of self-doubt, constantly worrying if others would approve of me or my actions. I'd agonize over the smallest things, wondering if I was living up to some invisible standard that was never even mine to begin with. Let me tell you, it was emotionally draining, and looking back, it feels like a heavy burden I carried unnecessarily for far too long. The truth is, as we age, at least as I've come to realize, the opinions of others hold far less weight. They matter so little that it's almost laughable. You reach a point where you begin to understand that most people are so preoccupied with their own lives, their insecurities, and their battles that they hardly have time to pay attention to you as much as you think they do. It's liberating to let go of the idea that you need to fit into someone else's mold and stop seeking approval from people who don't even have the energy to think about you. Now, I wear what feels good, what makes me happy. Whether it's that brightly colored scarf that I've always loved but was too afraid to wear, or the bold lipstick that defies those old, outdated ideas of what someone my age should wear, I wear it proudly. I no longer care if someone raises an eyebrow or whispers behind my back. I've come to cherish the freedom of embracing my individuality, even if it means defying the so-called rules of society. It's a beautiful thing to live authentically, to let go of the shackles of other people's expectations, and simply embrace who you are. I've also picked up hobbies I once considered quirky or too childish for someone my age. And you know what? It feels amazing. Life becomes vibrant when you stop hiding who you truly are and when you allow yourself the permission to pursue things that bring you joy, even if they seem a little unconventional. Because, in the end, no matter what you do, someone will always have an opinion, and that's okay. But let's be real, what truly matters is how you feel. Do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel alive? Do you feel like you're honoring yourself, your true essence? Carrying around the weight of what others think of you is like dragging a suitcase filled with air. There's no real substance to it. It's heavy, sure, but it's empty. Let it go. Free yourself from that weight. Once you start living for yourself, shedding the worry of others' judgment, something incredible happens. Life feels lighter, more open, and infinitely more fulfilling. You realize that your happiness doesn't depend on the approval of others, but on your sense of peace and contentment. When you begin to live for yourself, the world around you shifts, and you begin to experience the true freedom that comes with self-acceptance. The truth is, it's never too late to start. So why not begin today? 2. trying to keep a perfectly clean home. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine waking up early, the quiet of the morning enveloping you, and you're looking forward to that first sip of coffee to start your day. But then, just like clockwork, your mind starts running through an endless checklist of things that need to be done. The laundry is piled high, the floors are crying out for a good mop, and don't even get me started on the shelves that desperately need dusting. It never stops, does it? There's always something. And for so many years, I bought into the idea that my home had to be perfect, a pristine showplace where every corner sparkled, and every item was in its exact, designated spot. But what I didn't realize at the time was how much this pursuit of perfection was slowly wearing me down. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. The effort I put into maintaining that standard left me with sore, tired hands, a stiff back, and more than anything, a deep sense of frustration. It was as if no matter how hard I worked, there was always something more to do, and that list of tasks never seemed to get any shorter. What I've come to understand over time, especially at this stage in my life, is that my energy, my time, and my well-being are so much more precious than the ideal of a spotless home. It's the little things that matter, the moments of peace, the laughter shared with loved ones, the quiet joy of a cozy evening. A bit of dust on the shelves or a sink full of dishes doesn't define the essence of who I am, nor does it define the quality of my life. It's just stuff. And frankly, it doesn't deserve my energy. What truly fills my heart are the moments spent with people I love, the precious times when I can sit down and read a good book or take a leisurely walk outside to breathe in the fresh air. These are the moments I cherish now. Life is too short, too fleeting to waste it chasing after an illusion of perfection. So, I've learned to let go. I've come to understand that it's okay if everything isn't in its perfect place. It's okay to ask for help if you need it, whether that means asking a family member to pitch in or even hiring someone to assist if you're in a position to do so. If those options aren't available to you, that's okay too. It's about priorities. Focus on what truly matters, and let the rest go. Save your energy for making memories, for savoring the moments that light you up from the inside, rather than polishing countertops or chasing after dust bunnies. Because, in the end, it's those memories that will be what you look back on and cherish forever. 3. Holding on to grudges. Holding on to grudges is like carrying a heavy, invisible burden that holds you back from living a peaceful, fulfilling life. It's as if you're tied to a weight that you can't escape from, a weight that drags you down into the depths of bitterness, preventing you from moving forward or finding joy in the present. I know this feeling all too well because, for so many years, I carried around my bag of grievances. I held on to the disappointments from friends who let me down, the unresolved arguments with family members that left wounds that never fully healed, and the bitterness I harbored towards strangers who had no idea they were the subject of my resentment. It was exhausting. Every time I replayed those old hurts in my mind, it was as if I was reliving the pain all over again, as if I could somehow exact revenge or make them feel the hurt they caused me. But here's the painful truth I learned. Holding on to grudges doesn't punish the person who wronged you, it only punishes you. It locks you in a prison of your own making, where you're the only one suffering. I realized that by clinging to anger, resentment, and the weight of past wrongs, I was robbing myself of peace, joy, and the freedom to move forward. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Forgiveness is not about excusing the other person or pretending that what happened didn't matter. It's not about forgetting, either. It's about freeing yourself. It's about reclaiming your power and your peace and no longer allowing someone else's actions to dictate how you feel or how you live. I can't begin to describe the profound sense of relief I felt when I began to let go of grudges. It was like the fog lifted, and for the first time in years, I felt clear. My heart felt lighter, my mind less cluttered, and even my physical health improved as I released the tension that I'd carried for far too long. If you're holding on to a grudge right now, ask yourself, will this matter when I'm gone? Will it matter in the grand scheme of your life, in the moments that count? So often, The answer is no. Holding on to anger is not worth it. It steals from your present and clouds your future. Whether it's through a heartfelt conversation, an open expression of your feelings, or even a silent act of forgiveness in your own heart, release the anger and create space for peace. Letting go is one of the greatest acts of self-love you can give yourself. It's a gift that will not only transform your emotional world but will heal your spirit in ways you never imagined possible. 4. Trying to please everyone. For years, I found myself trapped in the exhausting cycle of trying to please everyone around me, and I'm sure many of you can relate, especially women. It's almost as if we've been conditioned from a young age to believe that our happiness should always come second, that our worth is defined by how much we give to others. We say yes to things that don't bring us joy, agree to plans that drain us, and stretch ourselves thin, all in the name of keeping everyone else content. And unfortunately, this often happens at the expense of our well-being. I used to think that saying no was a selfish thing to do and that it would somehow make me a bad person. But over time, I've come to realize that constantly putting others' needs before my own is not only unsustainable but deeply damaging. It's taken years of personal growth and a lot of painful lessons for me to understand that you simply can't pour from an empty cup. If you're always giving and never taking the time to replenish yourself, eventually, you'll run dry. There's so much power in saying no, and it doesn't make you mean or unkind. It's a clear statement that you value your time, your energy, and, most importantly, yourself. Saying no is an act of self-respect and an affirmation of your boundaries. As I've gotten older, I've learned that I've earned the right to prioritize my happiness. The people who truly care about me will understand and respect my need for space and time for myself. And for those who don't, well, their approval is just not worth the sacrifice of my peace. It's such a liberating feeling to release the need to please everyone. The weight that lifts when you start valuing your own needs is immeasurable. In this chapter of life, I've realized that nurturing my well-being is not just important, it's essential. 5. Accumulating things you don't need. I once found myself caught in the cycle of collecting things: clothes, gadgets, trinkets, and decorations. I truly believed that acquiring more would somehow make my life better, more exciting, and more complete. How many times did I convince myself that this new outfit, this shiny kitchen tool, or that decorative piece would add just the right touch to my life? I held on to these possessions, thinking they held the key to happiness. But as the years passed, I began to realize a painful truth. The things I thought would bring me joy didn't bring me peace, nor did they make me happier. The truth is, those items just piled up, both physically and emotionally. Stuff isn't just something that takes up space in your home. It consumes your thoughts and energy. It invades your mind like a silent, invisible weight, and before you know it, you're suffocating under the sheer volume of stuff that was never truly important. It was like a constant reminder of a life that felt full, but deep down, it was empty. Turning 70 marked a turning point for me. I had accumulated so much over the years, yet I was no closer to finding what truly made me happy. So, I began a quiet revolution in my life. I started to shed the excess, both material and mental. I chose to let go of the things that were weighing me down. It wasn't easy. It required patience, introspection, and courage. But with each item I parted with, I felt lighter, freer, more in touch with what mattered. Now, instead of spending money on things that will only gather dust, I invest in experiences. Experiences that fill my heart and soul, not my closets. Whether it's sharing a meal with close friends, signing up for a class I've always dreamed of taking, or embarking on a journey to explore a new place, those moments bring me more joy than any possession ever could. The memories we create in those moments are the ones that stay with us, etched in our minds long after the material things have faded. And let me tell you, those moments, those connections, those lessons learned, those places explored, are what truly nourishes the spirit. They are worth far more than anything I could ever buy. In hindsight, I see that the pursuit of material things was a distraction, a shallow attempt to fill a deeper void. It took me so long to realize that what I truly needed wasn't more stuff, it was more living, more moments, more connections, more joy. Now, I live with intention, savoring experiences that are rich in meaning and depth. Life is too short to be weighed down by things that don't matter. I wish I had learned that sooner, but I'm thankful that I've learned it at all. 6. The futility of pleasing everyone. From the very beginning of our lives, many of us, especially women, are subtly but powerfully conditioned to prioritize the needs and happiness of others over our own. We grow up in an environment where we are taught that being nurturing, selfless, and accommodating is virtuous. We are often cast into roles of caregivers, peacemakers, and people-pleasers, all while learning to silence our voices and desires in favor of maintaining harmony. Over time, this behavior becomes a part of who we are. We say yes to every request, even when we know it stretches us too thin, just to avoid the discomfort of disappointing others or breaking the delicate balance around us. This constant self-sacrifice, however, can leave us feeling utterly drained, unfulfilled, and invisible in our own lives. For years, I, too, believed that putting myself first was a selfish act, something that went against the natural flow of my supposed duty to others. I was convinced that declining a request or expressing my own needs was a sign of weakness, even a moral failing. It took me far too long to understand that in the pursuit of always pleasing others, I was neglecting the most important person in my life, myself. I was endlessly giving, all while feeling emptier and emptier. I felt lost in a world where everyone's happiness came before my own. But as I grew older, the harsh truth began to reveal itself to me. Giving endlessly at the expense of my happiness is not only unsustainable, it's deeply unfair. The emotional toll of living for others constantly can erode our sense of self-worth and leave us questioning whether we even deserve to take up space. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly giving and never replenishing your energy, you'll have nothing left to give, and eventually, you will break. Saying no is not an act of cruelty. It is, in fact, an act of self-respect. It's an affirmation of your boundaries and your right to protect your time, energy, and mental health. It doesn't make you unkind or inconsiderate, as I once feared. It makes you honest, with yourself and with others. It's a declaration that your needs matter, that your time is precious, and that your well-being is not something to be compromised. I've learned that if someone's approval or happiness requires me to sacrifice my peace and joy, their opinion is no longer worth my time. This realization, while uncomfortable at first, was liberating. The people who truly care about you will respect your right to say no. They will understand that when you take care of yourself, you're better able to show up for them in the long run. It's about giving yourself the same love and care that you so readily offer to others. You deserve that. You deserve to focus on your happiness, your peace, and your well-being. And when you finally choose to honor that, you'll find the strength to stop chasing external validation and start cultivating an inner sense of worth that no one can take from you. 7. Letting go of accumulated clutter and overthinking the past. For much of my life, I lived under the illusion that happiness was something I could acquire. A new possession here, the latest gadget there, a fresh outfit, or a stylish piece of home decor. Each new item brought with it a brief moment of excitement, a fleeting sense of satisfaction. But over time, something began to shift inside me. As the years went by, I found myself surrounded by a mountain of things I didn't truly need, things that promised happiness but never delivered. By the time I reached 70, the weight of all these possessions was undeniable. What I had once believed would bring joy now only seemed to drain me. The clutter filled every nook and cranny of my home, but it also filled my mind with unnecessary stress and distraction. I began to ask myself, do I read all of this? That closet bursting with clothes I rarely wear, the mixing bowls of every size imaginable, yet I only ever use one, and the drawers crammed with trinkets that served no purpose. The truth was startling yet incredibly freeing. The things I had spent so much time collecting were weighing me down. These material possessions, which I had once thought would bring fulfillment, were only creating chaos in my space and, more importantly, in my heart. So, I made a choice to let go. It wasn't easy at first. We become so attached to our things, don't we? Each item holds a memory, a story, or a dream we once had. But the more I cleared away, the lighter I felt. It wasn't just about decluttering my home. It was about decluttering my mind and my soul. When I finally let go of things I no longer needed, I made room for what truly mattered. Time with loved ones, experiences that brought me joy, and the space to breathe freely. Rather than spending my resources on more material goods, I focused on the richness of life itself, like sharing laughter with friends over a homemade meal, taking a class I'd always been curious about, or just basking in the simple beauty of a peaceful walk through nature. These moments felt so much more fulfilling, more real, than anything that had ever occupied my shelves or closets. And then there's the past. Oh, the past. How it has a way of creeping into your thoughts, doesn't it? That nagging regret about a decision you wish you could undo or a moment that slipped away, never to return. I spent so many years replaying these moments in my head, wondering, what if I had done things differently? But in those endless cycles of overthinking, I realized something essential. The past is gone. No amount of ruminating, no amount of what-ifs, could ever rewrite the pages that have already been written. It's like flipping through an old photo album. You can look back, reflect, and even feel the emotions that those pictures stirred up, but you can never step back into those moments. They are behind you, where they belong. So why, then, do we cling to them? Why do we allow the mistakes, the missed opportunities, and the regrets to cloud our present? The answer is simple. It's because we are human. We long for things to be different, to have a chance to change our choices. But here's the truth I've come to understand. Those moments, those challenges, those mistakes, they have shaped me into who I am today. Every single experience, whether joyful or painful, has taught me something. They have taught me resilience, humility, and the importance of self-forgiveness. Most importantly, they have reminded me that the only time I truly have control over is now. The present moment, where life unfolds, where I can choose to live with purpose and meaning. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Whenever I catch myself slipping into the what-ifs, I remind myself that the past is a closed chapter. I have the rest of my story yet to write. There are new adventures, new joys, and new lessons ahead of me. So I choose to leave the past behind, where it belongs, and move forward with gratitude, with peace, and with a heart open to the possibilities that life still holds. 8. Staying silent about your needs. For most of my life, I silently carried the weight of my needs, desires, and wants, burying them beneath layers of politeness and the misguided fear that speaking up would make me seem demanding or difficult. It was so ingrained in me to avoid rocking the boat, to not burden anyone with my desires or wishes, that I let small, unspoken inconveniences grow and fester into a mountain of frustration. The quiet sacrifices, the moments I held my tongue, began to turn into an overwhelming feeling of loneliness and emotional exhaustion. I would smile through discomfort, nod through displeasure, and suppress my emotions in the hopes of maintaining peace, only to find that peace was temporary and my heart was slowly becoming weary. As the years have passed, I've come to realize something so profound and liberating. Life is far too short to remain silent about your own needs. We don't have endless time, and the precious moments we do have should not be spent tiptoeing around our truths. The weight of those unsaid words, the unexpressed emotions, will only leave you feeling more isolated. No one should have to guess what you're feeling, what you need, or what you want. The truth is, we all deserve to have our voices heard, loud and clear. Whether it's asking for a little extra help around the house, requesting a moment of quiet when the world feels too loud, or even sending back a meal that isn't right, these are not selfish acts. They are acts of self-respect. The first time I truly spoke up for myself, it was terrifying. But to my surprise, the world didn't collapse. People listened. They were more understanding than I had imagined, more empathetic, and many even appreciated my honesty and clarity. It turns out that being clear about your needs doesn't make you a burden. It invites connection. It strengthens relationships because when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, to show your true self, others are often more than willing to meet you halfway. There is nothing more empowering than realizing that your happiness, your comfort, and your peace of mind are just as important as anyone else's. You are worth the effort. You deserve to have your voice heard and your needs acknowledged. If you don't advocate for yourself, who will? Life is far too fleeting to hold back on the things that matter most to you. I wish I had learned this sooner. The importance of speaking up, of being true to myself and my needs. But now, I take every opportunity to let my voice echo with confidence, to be unapologetic in my ask because I know that my well-being matters just as much as anyone else's. Don't wait. Speak your truth. It is not selfish. It is essential. 9. Stop comparing yourself to others. We've all been there, haven't we? You catch yourself scrolling through social media or overhearing a conversation, and suddenly, you're hit with that familiar sting of comparison. You start wondering why your life doesn't seem as shiny as someone else's. Maybe it's your neighbor who's always jet-setting off to some exotic destination, or that friend who seems to have a flawless family with perfect moments captured in every frame. Or perhaps, it's someone your age who seems to have all the energy, vitality, and radiance you feel like you've lost. Whatever it is, we've all experienced that gut-wrenching feeling of measuring ourselves against others. But here's the thing. Comparison is truly a thief of joy. The older I get, the more I realize just how deeply this habit can hurt us, robbing us of peace, happiness, and self-acceptance. We often forget that what we see on the outside is just the tip of the iceberg. That well-traveled neighbor, they may be seeking adventures to escape the loneliness they feel inside, desperately trying to fill a void that can't be touched by a plane ticket. That seemingly perfect family might be putting on a front, hiding struggles that no one outside the home sees. That peer who looks so youthful, they could be battling insecurities that they keep hidden beneath their flawless appearance. The truth is, we never know the full story behind someone else's life, and comparing our behind the scenes to their highlight reel is an unfair and damaging practice. The only person you should ever compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you kinder today? Are you taking better care of your health? Are you feeling more grounded, more at peace, more alive? These are the only real measures that matter. No one else's journey is yours to walk, and no one else's timeline can reflect your unique path. So, when I catch myself falling into the trap of comparison, I take a deep breath and shift my focus to gratitude. I stop and ask myself, what am I truly thankful for right now? What are the blessings in my life that I've been taking for granted? It's amazing how powerful gratitude can be. It lifts us and reminds us of the things we've often overlooked. Remember, your journey is yours alone. It's beautiful, even in its struggles, and it's worth celebrating. Embrace the unique life you're living and stop comparing it to someone else's. Your worth is not defined by what others have or what they've achieved. It's defined by your growth, your joy, and your peace within. Your story is incredible, just as it is. 10. Let go of worrying about others' opinions and say no when you mean it. For years, I let the opinions of others hold an unnecessary grip on my life, shaping the way I dressed, the things I said, and even the decisions I made. It was exhausting. Every word I spoke, every action I took, was measured against a fear of judgment. I found myself constantly questioning, do I look okay? Did I say the right thing? Will they think less of me? It was an endless cycle of self-doubt and insecurity that weighed heavily on my heart. And the truth is, it was all for nothing. Most people are far too wrapped up in their struggles, ambitions, and fears to be obsessively focused on their every move. The realization hit me when I turned 70. I was wasting precious time worrying about what others thought. I simply didn't have the energy anymore to live my life based on anyone else's standards but my own. Those opinions, they don't pay my bills. They don't provide the joy and meaning I've worked so hard to cultivate. They don't matter now, and they certainly won't matter in 5 years. What truly matters to me are the choices I make, the love I give, and the respect I show others, not the fleeting, shallow judgments of people who don't even know me. I've realized that my worth isn't tied to the opinions of others. It's grounded in how I live authentically, how I embrace who I am, and how I treat those who matter most. And that's something no one can take away from me. So now, when I look in the mirror, I see a woman who is unafraid to be herself. I wear what feels good to me, I speak my truth with honesty, and I follow my values without apology. If someone doesn't approve, well, that's their journey, not mine. I no longer carry the burden of seeking approval from people whose opinions hold no real significance in my life. Life is far too short for that. And let's talk about saying no. How many times have you said yes to things you had no desire to do just because you were afraid of disappointing someone or letting them down? I've lost count of the times I've done just that. But as I've grown older, something has shifted inside me. I've realized the immense power of the word no. It's not a rejection of others, but a declaration of self-worth, a way of guarding my time, my peace, and my mental energy. The ability to say no is, without a doubt, one of the greatest gifts I've given myself. And let me tell you this, you don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your well-being. We all have our limits, and saying yes to everything drains us and steals time away from the things we love, the things that nourish our souls. I want to spend my time immersed in the things that bring me joy, reading, taking long walks, nurturing my garden, or simply sitting with a hot cup of tea and letting the sun warm my face. Those are the moments that make life truly precious. I won't lie. Saying no wasn't easy at first, especially after a lifetime of people-pleasing and always trying to keep the peace. But with each refusal, with each time I put my needs first, it became easier. And guess what? People started to respect my boundaries. The world didn't crumble when I said no. I was able to invest more fully in my relationships, my hobbies, and, most importantly, in myself. If you find yourself constantly overwhelmed by commitments you didn't truly want to make, it's time to step back and reclaim your power. Saying no isn't selfish. It's an act of self-care, an acknowledgement that your well-being matters just as much as anyone else's. You deserve peace, you deserve joy, and you deserve to live life on your terms. As I look back over the years, I realize that life has taught me so many invaluable lessons. Lessons that have allowed me to live more fully, more honestly, and with a heart that is light and free. One of the most profound lessons I've learned is that letting go of what doesn't serve you is essential to finding happiness and peace. We're not here to please everyone. We're here to live authentically, to make choices that nourish our souls, and to surround ourselves with people who truly lift. Time is the most precious gift we have, and as I've gotten older, especially after reaching the age of 70, I've come to understand just how finite our time and energy are. So, I urge you to let go of the things that hold you back, whether they're expectations, opinions, or people who don't respect your worth. Life is too short to spend another day trying to fit into a mold that doesn't serve you. Embrace the joy of living freely, boldly, and unapologetically. 11. Stop trying to solve everyone's problems. As humans, it's deeply ingrained in our nature to want to help those we love. We're wired to want to fix things, to make sure that no one we care about suffers. I've spent so much of my life convinced that it was my responsibility to solve everyone's problems, whether it was my family, my friends, or even people I barely knew. If someone was struggling, I couldn't help but jump in. I thought that by offering advice, taking on their burdens, or attempting to ease their pain, I was being kind, selfless, and compassionate. But as I reflect on those years, something powerful dawned on me. You can't fix everything. You can't take on everyone's troubles, no matter how much you love them. Over time, I learned a tough yet freeing truth. Each person's struggles are part of their journey. These challenges, as difficult as they may seem, are the things that help people build resilience, strength, and character. I spent years trying to shield people I loved from pain, but what I didn't realize was that in doing so, I was robbing them of the opportunity to grow, to face adversity, and to become stronger than they ever thought they could be. As much as it hurts to watch someone you care about suffer, sometimes suffering is a necessary step for them to learn something valuable about themselves. It's human to want to ease someone's heartache, to take away their pain, but stepping in too much can hinder their growth. They need to be able to find their way through their darkness, and it's not your job to carry their burden. Your role isn't to fix their lives or take away their struggles. It's to be there for them, to offer a listening ear, to show compassion, and to offer support when asked. The real act of love is standing by their side, letting them know they're not alone, but also respecting their ability to navigate their path. I'll tell you from my own experience. The moment I truly let go of the need to solve every problem was the moment I found a peace within myself that I hadn't felt in years. And it was a deep, profound peace. A weight I didn't even realize I was carrying lifted off my shoulders. Letting go is liberating. It's like you finally take a breath after holding it in for far too long. And trust me, it doesn't mean you're abandoning the people you love. Quite the opposite. By stepping back, you're showing them that you believe in their strength. You're allowing them the space to grow and find their solutions while also preserving your energy. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. At this point in life, I've realized that the most important thing is not to fix others' problems, but to live my own life fully, savor each moment, and embrace the joy that comes with knowing I've done enough for myself. The world will never stop spinning, and people's problems will never disappear, but it's not your responsibility to carry every single one. Give kindness, show love, and offer support, but never let the weight of others' struggles drain you. By focusing on what you need, by prioritizing your peace and well-being, you'll discover a deeper, richer sense of balance and tranquility. You can only truly give from a full cup, and it's time to pour some of that love and energy back into yourself. 12. Stop neglecting your happiness. This lesson, perhaps more than any other, has had the most profound and life-changing impact on me. For the majority of our lives, we are conditioned to put everyone and everything ahead of ourselves. Our children, our spouses, our careers, and our friends. We constantly tell ourselves that our happiness can wait and that it's okay to delay the things that bring us joy because there are always others to care for or responsibilities to fulfill. We often convince ourselves that there will be a someday when we can finally prioritize our well-being. But here's the painful reality. That someday never truly arrives. Time has a way of slipping through our fingers, and before we know it, years have passed in the blink of an eye. We look back and wonder how we ended up in this place, full of regret for all the things we didn't do and all the dreams we put aside. The truth is, happiness is not something that just happens to you. It's a choice, a conscious decision we make every single day. After you reach 70, this truth becomes even clearer. At this stage of life, it is imperative to recognize that you deserve to prioritize your happiness. It is never too late to start embracing it. Happiness isn't one size fits all. It's deeply personal and unique to each individual. For some, it may mean finally pursuing a passion that's been put off for too long. Maybe painting, gardening, or traveling the world. For others, it might mean rekindling an old friendship, learning a new skill, or simply carving out moments of peace for yourself, like settling into a comfortable chair with a book, free from distractions. For me, it was the realization that I, too, deserved happiness. Learning to say to myself, I deserve to be happy too, was nothing short of revolutionary. Those words became my mantra, a powerful reminder that my emotional and physical well-being was just as important as anyone else's. There is a certain freedom that comes when you finally let go of the need to meet everyone else's expectations or worry about the judgment of others. When you stop pouring your energy into things that don't serve you, like chasing after perfection or trying to please people who don't truly appreciate you, you open yourself up to what matters. You make space for the things that nourish your soul. And let me tell you, when you do, it's like a weight is lifted off your shoulders. Your entire outlook on life shifts dramatically. Suddenly, everything feels brighter, lighter, and more meaningful. You're no longer just going through the motions of life. You are living, truly living, with joy, passion, and intention. So, if there's one thing I would encourage you to take away from my experience, it's this: stop putting your happiness on hold. Stop letting the years slip by while you wait for a better time. There is no better time than now. As we wrap up today's video, I hope you've gained some valuable insights and inspiration. We've explored some powerful lessons that can truly transform the way we live, particularly as we get older. But now, I want to hear from you. What has stood out to you the most from today's discussion? What is one lesson you've learned that you're committed to bringing into your life? Please take a moment to share it in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going and support each other in making meaningful changes. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more content like this as we continue to explore ways to live a healthier, happier, and more fulfilling life. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.